Crazy story. Freaking bananas. So, this happened Christmas Day. Just yesterday. Nothing major. But it just, like, shows that crazy stuff always happens to me. I don't know why. My dad had the idea of getting a pizza for Christmas. And so I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. But as we started calling around, it's Christmas, so all the pizza places were closed. And so we're like, well, where else could we get pizza? The QFC was closed, Albertsons, like everything was closed. But I'm like, I know 7-Eleven is open, I know something's open. So I went on a drive to go see if I could, find a little frozen pizza or something, Sure enough, the 7-6 is open. I go in there, boom, they got a pizza. And so I'm like, awesome, all right. So when I go in there, there's a couple in there. They bought their stuff and they walked out. I grabbed my pizza and I walked up to the front, to the cashier, and a guy walks in. Looking over to the right, a guy walks in the door with the biggest sword I have ever seen in my life. No exaggeration. Literally the biggest sword I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, for real? Like in my head, I'm like, I just really hope I never have to pull the trigger and take somebody's life, at this age, like in this situation I'm in too, disabled and whatnot. I just hope I don't have to do that. But I'm prepared for it. And I'm looking at this guy and immediately I'm thinking, well, here goes that situation, But what I do is to analyze a person, see where their mind is at. I talk to them. I'm not just going to, a guy walks in with a sword, I'm immediately going to draw my gun, put the sword down, like I'm the police, like I'm not that desperate to, to be a badass or be looked at as cool by, whatever. I'm a grown man and I'm comfortable in my own skin, and I done been through what I've already been through. You don't want to be in that. You don't want to be in those situations. It might sound cool over a keyboard, or whatever, but it's not cool. Nobody wants to go through that shit. Anyhow, there's a girl working there by herself, young girl, and so I'm not going to leave this girl in here get chopped up. It's just not going to happen. And so I asked him, I said, bro, that sword is raw. Where'd you get that sword from? See, that's what I'm doing. I need to see where his brain is at. And he said, I bought it over there by Alderwood Mall. So I'm hearing his voice and just paying attention to how he's reacting to me. That lets me know where his mind is at. That's gonna give me more information, okay? So based on the reaction, I'm like, oh no, he doesn't seem loony. Now I don't put nothing past anybody, but he doesn't seem like he's about to come up in here and try to swing on anybody. So I asked the chick, I'm like, hey, where's your potato chips? I knew where they were. I just wanted to stall, and I wasn't going to leave her in there, until I was completely sure of the situation. So I left my pizza up on the counter and I walked back. I'm like, go ahead, man. You can go ahead in front of me. And I went back and I grabbed some potato chips. And funny, I'm driving by the store right now. And I grabbed the potato chips, came up behind him. He had bought some cigarettes. Now, when I walked up after he bought his cigarettes and he was about to walk back out, I said to him, I said, well, how much did that sword cost, man? And he picked it up. See, this time he turns around, he picks it up. And I'm like, oh, shit. So, one of my 5 rules of avoiding a gunfight, which is also rules just to be prepared, period, you know. I dropped my hand down by my shirt down here because I need to put myself in the most ready position in case he actually tries to swing. I'm going to have to pull this shirt up, grab my gun, and punch out, right? So I dropped my hand down by my shirt. I didn't grab my shirt because that can be obvious to people. I just dropped my hand down there by it in a good position. When he lifted it up, and he said, oh, about $450. And I said, $450? And he was like, yeah. And he's like, it's heavy. And that's why he picked it up, like, you know, telling me it's heavy or whatever. And I'm like, wow, that's a trip. All right, we'll have a good day, whatever. He walked out. But he stayed on the corner of like he just walked right outside. He didn't leave, you know. And it's Christmas night. Like, it's literally 12 o'clock at night, okay? And no one else is out there. This girl's working by herself. She's no older than 25, you know. And so he's outside smoking a cigarette with his damn sword. And I asked her, I'm like, so I wasn't going to leave you in here, you know, until I was a little bit more sure of his intentions. I'm like, do you know him? And she's like, no, I don't know him. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, look, you have the right to call the police. He is carrying a huge weapon, you know, like he's literally out here with a huge deadly ass weapon. You have the right to call the police if you don't feel safe. And she said, I know. And I said, all right. And I said, you okay? She said, yeah, I think so. I'm okay. And I'm like, all right. So I got my stuff. I walked out, and I said one more thing to him. So as I walked out, turned around, I said, you know what, man? That sword reminds me of Final Fantasy VII. And he said, that's exactly what it is. And I said, are you serious? That's the sword from Final Fantasy VII at the end where and he's like, yeah, that's what this is from. And I'm like, that's dope. That's dope. You know, and then he said, you have a Merry Christmas. And I said the same back to him. Got in the car, even though it was 12 o'clock. Got in the car, and I left. I actually circled back around to see if he would go back in the store, see if anything crazy happened. But he didn't. He was still outside smoking a cigarette, so I don't know. And then I left. So, just something I'm putting out there, you know, as an idea. Like, you know, I kind of freestyle this stuff, but you know, based on I've had a life full of stuff, action, you know, and that's one thing I've learned over the years. Talk to that person to see where their mind is at, you know, and that'll tell you a lot. That'll give you a lot of information that you need to know if you're not sure if someone is a threat or not. So, yeah, that's that. If there's anything in any of these videos that can help you in the future, I've done my job. Thank goodness, but regardless, you guys just be safe out there. Keep your eyes open. Stuff like this doesn't just happen to me. Seems like it happens to me more often, but it doesn't just happen to me. So you guys be safe. Let me out.